Fat Man Pat here. We're going to talk about football. Yeah, love football. Everybody loves football, don't they? We're going to talk about every kind of football known to mankind. We're going to hit the college ranks. We're going to hit NFL football, which, hey, that's even more exciting than college this year. And you know what? To round it off, all you fantasy guys out there and high school genre wannabe gurus, we'll throw a bit of talk about that too. But first off, let me get to my guest here, family member, Homies League player for the Homies League Blast-Off Football Extravaganza today, No Sad Z-Mog.
Hello.
How you doing, brother?
Good.
Sweet, man. We're going to talk about football today, and I figure we should just romp right into this, talk about college. As you guys can see, we are numero uno BSU fans.
Got the glasses.
He's got
BSU
the
glasses.
circles, everything. I love it.
Yep.
Looks good. It's the blue and orange. You know what? The blue and orange is falling into the polls at right about number 21 in AP, I believe, 18 in USA. What do you think, man?
In a way, we're kind of lucky to be there. We're not playing as well.
I agree.
Even though we've beaten everybody since Michigan State, they're not. It's not pretty. We've had 2 convincing wins.
Caliber of opponents hasn't exactly been up to par for us this year.
No, and our offense is, unless we're spoiled with Kellen Moore the past 3 years, 4 years, it's just not the same. So
No, that's what it has been for me. I mean, when we were sitting over at Gregor's a couple of weeks ago, and we're watching that game, who was it we were playing? Do you remember who we were playing that day? Ole Miss, I think, wasn't it? No? See, we're already wrong. What kind of crap is that? All right. We were playing somebody 2 weeks ago. San Diego State. It was somebody that we thought we should have just been able to tear to pieces. We outscore them, what, 25-0 in the first half? And then what happened?
We let down our guard. Our defense played great in the first half. In fact, all year they've been playing good. But that game,
they decided not to show
I think we
up
got a
in the
little
second
too
half.
cocky. Maybe they adjusted to us. We didn't adjust to them,
No,
basically.
they did.
So
They adjusted to the tune of 29-7, outscoring us in the second half. Pulled off the win, but it was
Luckily.
the ugliest win I've seen
luckily,
all
and
year.
our offense didn't do well at all the second half either. So
No. But I think we do have some good prospects that are coming up. We got some underclassmen that are looking pretty good. I think that the Coach Pete is going to have some kids to work with over the next few years.
well, it's a kind of a rebuilding year. So being 6-1, I'll take that in a rebuilding year, even though they're ugly. And Southwick, I'm not the biggest fan. He's doing all right, but the guy that I'm really looking forward to is Jay Ajayi.
Oh,
He looks amazing. He looks amazing.
He's going to be an amazing.
You know that his rushing per attempt is 7.4. That's
No
just
way.
unbelievable.
That's not.
Yeah.
Is that even human?
And he's a freshman.
possible?
He's freshman.
A freshman.
He hasn't
right?
fumbled the ball yet.
7.4.
He runs people over. He's the future. I love Harper, but we'd be fine with Ajayi as well.
No, I think he is. I think you're right. I think for the next few years we're going to be solid at the running back.
And
position.
our offensive line is amazing. We just picked up somebody for the 2013 class, an offensive guard out of Texas. Don't know his name offhand. Just saw it today actually. 3-star. So
Nice.
that looks promising.
Star is always good recruit.
Another running back from Texas is coming in. Yeah, so we're recruiting really well.
Well, you know, the worry at the beginning of the season, especially with the Broncos, was defensively. We lost so many key defensive players after last year.
Yeah.
And then come to find, I'm looking at the stats, man. We're ranked like 6th in the nation in defense.
13.6, I think, points a game we're giving up.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Which is phenomenal. I mean, that was the worry area, and it turns out it wasn't much of really a worry at all.
If my memory serves me right, I think the last 4 to 5 games, I don't think anybody's scored on us a touchdown in the first half.
Yeah, which is phenomenal statistic. Now, if we could just keep that intensity throughout the entire game, well, there'd probably be some little better blowouts, and we might even score a few more points than normal. Because offensively, we're way down the list. Don't like that at all.
No.
Speaking of the list, I mean, we do have our AP rankings, and really, I don't want to talk too much about it, but there are a couple of key schools in there that I like to keep my eye on year in and year out. Of course, Alabama is getting almost every single vote across the board. What do you think about that?
Alabama is a good school. I mean, aren't they number one in points against on defense?
Defensively,
I think,
they're right up at the top, I think.
Well, let's see. Alabama.
Yeah, right at the top.
Like normal. They don't give up anything. Offense is not the greatest.
No, offense is not the greatest. And I'm figuring, how is it that do you know exactly how they calculate this whole bowl championship series thing? I think they just
strength of
pull
schedule
out of their pockets and say, oh, let's go with Alabama this week or Oregon this week or whatever. It's just crazy. I mean,
that's what it seems like.
Yeah, it does. I'm not a big fan of the bowl championship series poll.
Yeah.
I like the AP poll because it's press, and press are the guys that are watching. They're paying attention to the statistics. The USA Today coaches poll, I like that one, but that one can also become kind of tainted because the coaches are going to vote for the ones they want to see in there. Which I find it funny that a few weeks ago we had fallen out of the polls, and we had stayed out of the polls. We cracked back in on the AP the next week, but not on the USA poll. And now we're higher in the USA poll than we are in the AP poll. So polling is kind of a trip anyway. Well, we know who's sitting in the number 2 spot, because they're one of our rivalries that we've pretty much handled easily every time we've played them. Oregon, yeah. So, what do you think, man? Is Oregon, should they be up at the top? I mean, they did have a good stint against Washington Huskies a couple of weeks ago, who everybody was looking at to maybe get another a spoiler in there after they had taken out Stanford the week before. So,
I don't know. Oregon looks pretty amazing. I mean, their offense is unstoppable.
They just seem to be able to score.
They score. I think they're number 1 in points per game, actually.
Yeah, they are.
48, something like that.
Something like that.
Pretty high.
I think 45.
Pretty high.
It's a huge number of points that they put on the board.
It's just that offense. It's hard to figure out.
Which is really funny because they've played a couple of offensive teams that have been able to score with them and score with them and score with them. But nobody can seem to stifle the other one long enough, and Oregon is like a steam train. There is no defense that I've seen in college that can really stop them right now. So
maybe us.
Yeah, but we don't get to play them this year.
I wish. That'd be nice.
That's because of our wonderful strength of schedule. Thanks a lot, Mountain West.
If Alabama played our schedule, they'd still be number 1. Because they're Alabama.
Because they're Alabama.
Yeah, so this strength of schedule is pretty bogus to me.
Surprise in the top 10 this year. Who's your surprise guy in the top 10? I know for me, I'm looking, Notre Dame is making a run again.
I like to say somebody else, but Notre Dame, that is surprising.
Well, who's your pick? Who's your
Notre Dame?
Dark horse?
Notre Dame is, because
Notre Dame.
When was the last time they were there? Lou Holtz era?
Yeah, actually, probably it's been about at least 10, 12 years before they've been serious contention for a national title.
So whatever they're doing out there is working finally. They're recruiting the guys, and the system's working, and they're looking impressive.
Well, they're not in trouble.
So it's kind of nice actually seeing them on top.
Yeah,
again.
It is. Me too. I think it's pretty cool to see them in the top 5 for the first time.
Remember Rocket Ishmael?
Yes, I do remember.
I think that was the last time they actually were national contenders.
Yep.
That was a long time ago.
Of course, went to Oakland, I believe.
Oakland?
Yes.
Yeah. We'll get into that later about Oakland, even though they're not worth talking.
But no, it is. It's fun. It's great to watch college football. We're having a blast with it this year. BSU, of course, is always going to be our favorite. But bottom line is, I think we're going to turn the tide a little bit, and we're going to take off towards something that, well, you and I, we go with, and that's the NFL. We'll be right back with the NFL. We're back with the Homies Football Blast Off. It's me, FatMan Pat, coming back at you, and my compadre in sports and arms,
Hola.
Zima.
Hola.
All right, so we're going to talk about the NFL. I mean, this one is pretty simple for us. We do the whole fantasy thing. We've been doing it for many, many years. So the NFL has a special place in our heart. Now, you being, of course, a Denver Bronco fan for as long as I can remember, and me, of course, the antithesis of a Bronco fan until this year. Because my main man, Peyton Manning, is at the helm.
You know how much of a score that is, getting Peyton Manning as our quarterback?
Do you know how sad I was?
What a score that was. I was the happiest man on earth. Now, even though they're only 3-3,
they're 3-3
in a very easy division.
So, yeah.
And he's looking better and better every week. Beware, everyone. And, honestly, our strength of schedule is actually the second hardest. So, if that says anything, we're playing good teams.
I think if they could pull a 10-6 out of this year, I think they're going to be right there in the thick of the playoffs.
They were saying in the beginning of the year, the experts 9-7. It could be 9-7, 10-6. I'd be happy with that.
Yeah,
because that's playoffs.
Some sort of contention for a wild card spot even would be good.
And Manning, he's clutch. Like he has been all year in the second half.
He sure has.
So he will be in the playoffs. I'm no doubt about that.
As a matter of fact, we might be able to get some passing stats up for NFL this year. He is number 2 on the list, but look at the top of the list. We've got Aaron Rodgers, almost 2,000 yards, 19 touchdowns already. And I have to be honest, I'm not a cheesehead, so I'm not a big Aaron Rodgers fan. And neither is anybody else I know except for this one other fat guy like me.
Puckett.
What do you think, man? Aaron Rodgers on top of the list, man?
He's a good quarterback. But
What makes him good, though? I mean, I'm not really, I don't know why he's so good. Is it because he studied under...
he had a gentleman named Brett Favre that was
that guy.
in Green Bay first.
That Hall of Fame, every category holding... it's all right, Peyton, we'll catch you.
Yes.
Right? So sit on your couch, keep drinking your Milwaukee's best, gain some weight, and watch the Manning man come under fire. Yeah, loving it to death. Well, we're looking at the NFC West, and it looks like another tumultuous division. We've got San Francisco sitting on top. And I got to tell you, they've got a pretty fat defense, man. Seattle's defense is ranked right up there with them.
If they can only score, they'd be dangerous. Seattle is one of the lowest in scoring.
Seattle had such action last week in San Francisco. They played them as tight as anybody could in San Francisco. I really wanted to see them come because I am a Sea Chicken fan.
Yeah, Sea Chicken.
Yes, that's right. You can call them chickens if you want, but that's why I call myself the Fat Man. So it really doesn't matter, does it? Okay. No, I am a Seahawk fan, and I wish they would have won last week, but I'm not scared of them in Seattle. I think when San Francisco's got to come and play us in Seattle, I think it's going to be a whole different ball game.
I'm sure it will be. It's a tough place to win.
Yeah, it is. Crowd noise is outrageous, not to mention Seattle is undefeated at home.
They're undefeated at home.
So,
and their quarterback, kind of surprising.
Russell
Pretty
Wilson,
good.
Rookie. His numbers statistically aren't
not the best, but he's not bad. He's a rookie. I mean, what do you expect?
Whose numbers are amongst the top in the league, and if we can throw up those rushing stats, we've got Marshawn Lynch is right up towards the top of the list. Of course, Adrian Peterson from Minnesota, doing what everybody anticipated and thought he would.
The guy that Boise State stopped against Oklahoma.
The guy that Boise State stopped against Oklahoma.
But no, Peterson, if he just stayed healthy.
He's
Barry
phenomenal.
Sanders like, but in his own way, yeah.
He's phenomenal, and he's got a line. I mean, Minnesota's, well, they've got a above average front line. I think that he would even be like monstrously scoring more behind a more versed and older, offensive front line. But nevertheless, doing well.
Yeah.
What's your favorite division this year, as far as competitively?
I would have to say my division, AFC West.
The AFC
just because
West.
you've got 3-3, 3-3, 3-3. You got a first place tie with Denver on top because I don't know if they count it as home schedule or not, but Denver's number 1, and then 2 other teams that are the same exact record. I mean, how much closer can you get?
You can't get much more.
That's very competitive. So who knows who's going to come out of that? That was a big win against San Diego last week.
Yes,
by the way.
Huge win.
San Diego even cheated and they lost.
Cheaters never win.
No.
Except for if it's Seattle, and we have interim referees that call touchdowns just for.
Just for fun.
Just for fun.
Just to end the game. I'm going to go home.
I'll tell you what, receivers this year, if we get those receiver stats up, Topping the list, of course, being thrown to by the infamous Tom Brady, we got Wesley Walker. Unbelievable hands this year, dude.
You can throw him anything.
Yeah.
And he has one of the best quarterbacks, which surprisingly, Brady is not. I don't even think he's top 10 in quarterback rating this year. Can you believe that?
Not. He's not even in the top 10.
I mean, it's still pretty decent. I think it's 96.1, but he's normally way close to 100.
Oh, he's normally right up towards the top of the list.
But
in the top three.
Going back to Wes Welker, he's for sure hands.
For sure hands.
And he's quick.
Reminds me of a guy Seattle had back in the late 80s.
I don't remember the
mid to
late
late
80s.
80s. His name was Paul Scanzi. Oh, that might be too far back for you.
Yeah, I can't talk about
Sorry.
that. I can't talk about that.
Oh, man. That's when Seattle was good in football, was in the 80s. No, they weren't. They were only good when they played against Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl.
I remember Steve Largent.
Steve Largent. I met him and Jim Zorn at a bowling alley, 8-lane bowling alley in my hometown. So I grew up over right by Seattle. I saw him bowling down there in an 8-lane bowling alley, and of course, as a young and upcoming wannabe football player at the time, I did land some autographs and
nice. I bet that was nice. Cool.
So, favorite coming out of the NFC? Who's your favorite coming out of the NFC?
I really don't have a favorite.
Don't have an NFC favorite?
No. You got a lot of teams. I mean, Atlanta. I would have to say them right now because they're undefeated. Matt Ryan's having a really good year.
Can you believe
their defense is good?
Though, dude? I mean, Atlanta's schedule is chumpy, I think.
A little bit. They played Denver. They played AFC teams for the most part, but I see them as of right now. I bet they're the best team in the NFC right now.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Arizona has really faltered. 3 losses in a row.
I knew that was a fluke.
Me too. But I was upset with the fluke because first game of the year, of course, Seattle's playing Arizona in Arizona. And the one thing I don't like about Seattle and never will like about Seattle is Pete Carroll. I don't like.
You're not a Pete Carroll fan, huh?
No, I'm not. Any guy who has a rookie quarterback on the 4-yard line, 4 yards away from a game-winning score, and then tries to rookie timing pass into the corner of the end zone 3 times in a row, rather than letting that kid have the ball, even as a quarterback sneak, he's going to sneak in 4 yards in 3 plays. Come on. So bad coaching, a loss they shouldn't have had. But Arizona was a fluke. They really are. They're showing the true colors. I like San Francisco in the NFC, but I'm going to pick Seattle to win the Super Bowl because I love Seattle. But anyway, we're going to move on in this show because the Blast Off has got more place to go, more things to see. So we'll be right back with some local and fantasy stuff coming back at you. Off. It's me, FatMan Pat, coming back at you live with my compadre in arms, No Sad Z-Mog. So what are you thinking, man? I do want to run down a few shout-outs to a couple of teams in high school football. Now, both the Z-Mog and the FatMan, we have kids that are in high school. Keish goes to
Mountain View.
Mountain View. Is she like it? Does she attend all the games?
She goes to the games. She goes with her friends. Does teenage stuff. That's part of it.
Teenagers have friends.
Teenagers have friends.
Ooh, that's dangerous.
They go to games and they have fun.
Oh, that part.
She may not even watch the games, but she goes.
Well, that's good because it's just pretty much a social event, I think.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to Mountain View, because I'm not really seeing them on the list of schools out there. So. I've got 2 Napa high schoolers, one in the marching band over at Napa High. I wanted to give a shout out to him today. He's competing in the D3 statewide marching band competition, and they just swept a big competition last week. So looking
nice.
forward, love to see my boy pull home some more trophies.
Yeah.
It's always nice. We've got a trophy case at home. The more that's in it, the better it looks when people come over. I can brag. It works like that. as well as my freshman. I've got a freshman boy who played freshman football over at Napa. Michael, good job. They ended up taking the district with only a single loss. I believe they were
Nice.
7-1.
Nice.
And the loss they did have, I was a little upset with. I went to all those games. So.
Oh, did you? Nice.
Yeah, but he's a lineman defensively and offensively.
He's a big boy.
Yes,
he is a big boy. Football should be.
We naturally see BK in the top of their 4A division, but they are behind a couple other teams. Are sitting at third in the overall polling there. And then Bora and Eagle are rounding out the 4 and 5 position in our 5A large. Some of the smaller schools, I know I've got family that are out in Marsing. They go out there too. And they're a lot more enthusiastic at some of the smaller places, other than, of course, Fruitland. Anybody that knows anything about high school football in the state of Idaho knows about Fruitland. Multiple year state champions. Right there in the thick of things again this year. It's fun to watch, high school football because these guys are really enthusiastic. They would like to be able to go play college football, so they are willing to tear off limbs, beat each other amongst the head and face with their helmets. You will see missing teeth, some broken bones, a lot of tape in high school football. But you know the deal. You want to catch the Friday Night Lights every single week. Everybody knows on one of the big TV stations around here, they've got the helicopter that flies over. They've got their agenda set. Check it out, guys. High school football, it's fun. Support your local neighborhood, your kids, all of the above.
Mountain View.
Napa. So we got Mountain View, we got the Bulldogs over here, we got them all. I'd like to turn the direction a little bit because the Homies Football Blastoff really is synonymous with the Homies League. Now, my compadre in arms here, Nosaj Zimog, has been running this league as commissioner in fantasy football now for...
I think about 6-7 years.
Yeah, at least. I'm thinking more, 7-8 years.
On Yahoo Sports.
Yahoo Sports, football. I've got our standings here. It looks like you're... once again, on top of the list in your division. I can't say that I'm very happy about that.
You were undefeated, right?
Yes, I was, until I played you, where I took my first loss in a come-from-behind victory. Nobody likes to be bent over and be scored on, so that kind of sucked. But anyway, I am sitting in a good spot, and I'm playing the first-place guy in my division right now. And I'm pretty confident that I'm going to smoke him this week. So.
Well, you have a lot of Denver Bronco players on your team.
I am almost. You might as well just call the Meat Sims, which is the name of my team, the Meat Sims. Anybody who's familiar with old video games, 64 format, Perfect Dark.
Perfect Dark.
Perfect Dark was famous for the different type of Sims that they have. I like the Meat Sims because they were easy to kill. And they're really the only ones that I could kill because I wasn't very good at the game. But anyway, the Meat Sims are my guys. And yes, I have 4 Denver Broncos starting players. Synonymously, as long as I've played in this league, every single year I go after a single player. I usually get him. I have for the last at least 3 or 4 years, and that's my main man, Peyton Manning. Hands down, in my opinion, the best football player at the quarterback position I've ever seen, and I've been watching football for over 40 years. So there's been some great ones along the way, but all the tools belong to this guy. Comes back after a career-threatening injury.
Yeah, major.
A year out, gets dumped by the team that he took all the way and gave them all the props that they could get. He ends up in your land.
Yes.
Okay. But he's scoring for me big already.
He is.
He's scoring for me big.
Yeah, he has a lot of touchdown throws. He averages 301 yards a game passing alone.
Which is phenomenal because the 2 receivers that I have as well are Demaryius Thomas, Eric Decker. 2 guys that Peyton is loving to throw to this year. I only wish that I would have went after the tight end, Tammy, as well.
Oh, yeah. He's having a surprising year.
Wow, he's having a great year.
But you got to think about it. He had Dallas Clark, and he really made Dallas Clark good. Dallas Clark, he's all right. He made Dallas Clark good. So It was a no-brainer to really – I'm surprised we didn't think about Denver Broncos tight end. He has
Yeah.
Peyton Manning,
No.
but he's having a good year too.
Well, I picked up Willie McGahee too as my running back. Now I've got Doug Martin and C.J. Spillner too.
What a pickup, Doug Martin.
Yeah. You know what? I did it simply for the blue.
He's
Didn't know if he was going to have a good year this year, but you know what? He started off the year with LeGarrette Blount getting hurt in preseason. That pretty much opened the door for Dougie to come in, and I gotta shout out to him. He scored me 33 points this week. A running back, 33 points. He had a phenomenal display of craftsmanship.
He's actually in my keeper league, which I'm going to add to the homies league for next year. I don't know if you ever played a keeper league, but
No, I haven't.
you do the draft, and then you have an option of choosing who you want to keep for the rest of your life in that league.
Nice.
So Doug Martin would be a good one. He's a rookie, and
Yeah, he is.
that's
And
why I
he's a
chose him.
starting rookie.
So I'm going to
He's
keep
doing
him every
so
year.
well. And then I got lucky with the Spillner pickup too. I was quick.
That was good. You do got to be quick.
Quick on the trigger. Fred went down, and I was lucky. I snatched him before anybody else had the gumption to do it. He's been a big scorer for me as well this year. But the Homies League is crusting on. We'll give shouts out to the Blazin', to the Pimp Daddy. We're coming after you. We're going to smoke you like you've never been smoked before. But you guys know the deal. We do this. This is football at its finest. The Homies League to blast off all of the above. We have college games galore this week. We've got NFL games coming up tomorrow by the dozens. I'm looking forward to it. Who's your best matchup for tomorrow, NFL?
I don't know.
I think we're going to go with
I
the
don't
Denver
know.
game.
Denver, who are they
I
playing?
think they're playing New Orleans.
Yeah, New Orleans.
So I think we've got some love there.
That's going to be a good one. Drew Brees, Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning, Drew Brees going at
It's going
it.
to be a passing attack.
Although Drew is just, what's up this year?
He's been having pretty good games, but not consistently like normal.
The guy looks like a hurricane coming to hit him upside the head again, like the last. Well, I don't know. But anyway, we're hoping that. But we've had a great time today. No Sag. Thanks for being on.
Yeah.
You guys, thanks for tuning in and checking out the Homies Football Blast Off. We'll be coming at you again live as soon as we can. It's the Fat Man Pat signing off with No Sag Z-Mog. You guys, behave.